Welcome back to Main TV. My name is Divine James, and we are still talking to Dr. Adebayo. So he's been telling us a lot about cholera. He's talking about the preventive method. He's talking about how it's prepared and how it can be treated well. So we're diving right away into the vaccine, who should take it, how we can manage it in a community level, and the role that the government has to play in this, and finally how we can cure cholera. So if you're still watching up to this point and you have not hit the subscribe button, please do well to hit the subscribe button, follow, comment, share, ask any question that you love to ask. Welcome back, Dr. Adi. We're still here talking about. So, is there a vaccine that is out there for it, or there is none yet?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that question. Yes, there's a cholera vaccine available in Nigeria actually, and anybody can actually take it. The only thing we say about the vaccines is that one, it's not cheap.
Okay.
It's not cheap. Secondly, is that the only non-significant for the US. There's also the school of thought that says that cholera vaccines, taking the cholera vaccines does not mean that you may not have the disease. It just prevents you from so many complications of the disease. Because you can't say because I've taken the vaccine, you just keep letting your guards down and then consuming so much of it.
Eating carelessly anywhere you like.
Yeah, then of course after a 2-year period, the immunity will so, the cholera vaccine exists. It's not so cheap.
So when you say it's not so cheap, please don't cut our heart. How much
Well,
is it?
I don't know what the current market value of the vaccine is, but I'm sure that is, as the last time I found out, it was well more than 30.
Oh. So now, how do people who live in these areas that that the hygiene, is not properly managed, how can they afford this medicine?
Well, again, like I said, we have some vaccines in this country, all the routine vaccines. They are part of our routine immunization schedule. Unfortunately, cholera is not one of them. These are vaccines that are really donated to us by national bodies, through our government agencies. When they give young children, especially young children that are below the age of 1, yes, and so these are free for those children. Unfortunately, cholera is not one of them.
Can we find it anywhere and everywhere, or there are specific places that we have to find?
Well, it depends on the manufacturers, on how the reach of the manufacturers of the vaccines. Like we don't manufacture vaccines. Yeah, so most of these vaccines are brought in outside the country. So depending on the manufacturer, depending on where the hospitals are able to reach, if you want, in this hospital for instance, cholera vaccine available in the pharmacy, right?
Oh,
But I
okay.
cannot speak for other hospitals
Okay.
whether it's
So
available.
we have it here.
Yes, we have it in the
Oh, okay. At an affordable rate or still on the high side?
Well, like I said, I really don't know what the market value is at the moment.
Okay.
Because some of these vaccines are imported. Like I said, they're bought into this country. The manufacturers will always use the prevailing dollar rates to sell them.
Oh, very
So,
true.
and the dollar rates are not so stable. So I can't really say that this is the price uh, at the moment. So, apart from thoroughly cooking the food, boiling the water, ensuring that the food is thoroughly covered. Because imagine if housefly, perching on somebody's feces and touching your food that is open, you can also get that. So, of course, if you are not consuming food immediately, we also encourage people to cover their food, um, wash their hands thoroughly, use hand sanitizers regularly as often as. And on a general note, we also tell people to ensure that their environments are clean, ensure that people do not practice open defecation, and try as much as possible. Also, prevent neighbors, because you see, I can say I don't practice open defecation. But imagine I see my neighbor practicing it. Don't pretend
Very
that no,
true.
we don't do that, because invariably, I don't know where the school will get to and all that. And so it's also good to always hear our brother's keepers and also caution. Unfortunately, one cannot really blame the populace if you don't make this.
Yes.
In developed countries, people ensure that.
Okay, so now I want to ask, in all of this, we all as citizens, we have our roles to play, as well as the government has their role. So, if you're to advise like a community campaign or awareness creation, we have to address the entire community on how to, manage the situation so that we keep managing it instead of spreading it out there. What are the measures? What are the roles that the community has to play?
Thank you again for that question. I would say that community advocacy on managing cholera is very important. We need to take very seriously environmental sanitation, right? So that during this as clean as possible. One, and they also must ensure that they encourage open defecation possible. By doing that, we should also vigilance and ensure that people are not just walking around just anywhere. So if possible, community right toilets for people to be able to use, so that if you have visitors, guests, or people that anybody can request at any moment, give them an opportunity to use the toilet so that they can get that done and you don't just do it anyhow. And of course, clear any surrounding bush or grass or anything, because when people see a bush or a grass somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
them as well, they just can go out from there. Right? So we should not give them that opportunity as well. All right, just everybody should just keep vigilance on what everybody is doing around the community. In Nigeria, we always have a tendency to, I'm not doing my own thing. I don't care about what you're doing. And do that. Look for a public eatery. Look for a filling station. Look for somewhere that you can actually properly use the toilet. Because by doing it anywhere you are, but, everywhere can be flooded.
Yeah, anywhere can be
And
flooded.
once you're
Yeah.
flooded, it takes it. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't know, you can take it anywhere where we don't know. And then, of course, we always try to also advocate that for communities where they have public fields, they should also keep vigilance over them. There are certain times you see people building houses with their, soakaway pits, very close to water bodies, wells and all that. So there's usually a distance within which you must site a soakaway pit with a water body. So if for me to have wells or boreholes, we always encourage that distance so that there's no underground contamination to the soakaway or the drainage to the water body and all that. Then there's some environmental standards that must be also try to.
So you are agreeing with the Lagos state government because I think last 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Lagos state government said they want to bring back environmental sanitation. So are you agreeing with the Lagos state government?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think one of the measures that is long overdue. I think I support the Lagos state government that so that people are aware. You know, a lot of times we just negligent about our environment. You know, if you keep your environment clean, ensure that some of these preventive steps are taken. Yes, I think we'll go a long way. Government also needs to provide more public health. I keep on saying it that we need to reduce our open defecation index in the world. Nigeria has one of them. That is not healthy. So we need to reduce our open defecation index, provide more public toilets for people to be able to use. You know, one day I was driving through the Lagos Ibadan, just Lagos, and I saw people openly defecating. Made together, you see everywhere later the faces and all that. So I think more public toilets needs to be created. I think government also needs to enforce building regulations, ensuring that people don't just build anyhow, to create images and talk away leaks, close to water bodies that can get contaminated. I also think that government needs to do a lot in water supply because if every house has water, that we will not be forced to use some of this water that we can find, right? So we need to also address some of the water shortages that we see around there. In so many parts of Nigeria and even Lagos, to be precise, you see all these people with jerrycans selling water, going with water that they are. So one can really not trust the source of this water, and that's because they don't really have access to it. If more water sources are provided for people, okay, this source is protected water, and that will also go a long way in ensuring that this is are reduced the rest of
Now, I'm loving this because I love it when there is a problem and there is without a problem there is no solution.
And we also have this tendency in this part of the world to first visit or pharmacy stores to get drugs and say like treating for them. And the natural order, if somebody is passing through, everybody wants to use flagyl, everybody wants to use tetracycline. Right? And these are some of these antibiotics may not really be effective in treating cholera, right? What we do for people that have cholera is we try to replace the water they have lost by doing some aggressive rehydration, giving them water, either taking for people that can take orally, we encourage them to take orally, or we just put up an IV access for them and give them some food. Eternal vigilance is key. Whether we're in cholera season or not, ensure that you do not drink any water source that you do not trust. Once you cannot trust the water, ensure that you drink only safe water. If you doubt, boil the water as much as possible and drink it. Right? If you drink any sachet water that you know that has not been that please do not consume. Right? In consuming foods and ensure that you're taking foods that you trust, and ensure that you probably cook their food as well as possible. Finally, if you see something, say it.
Thank you so much for your time, Doctor. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Divine. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so for me, number one, you have to wash your hand properly, like maybe after eating or probably before eating also. Both after eating and before eating, you have to wash your hand. Make sure you avoid places where people do cough. When you have someone coughing behind you, just make sure you keep your body away so that it won't affect you. And if at all you're the one coughing, also make sure you cover your mouth. So those are the ways I know. We also advise that you don't defecate in an open place because one, it's not hygiene. So it's for me, believe that as a person, your personal hygiene really matter most. You have to keep yourself clean and safe, so you don't defecate in an open environment.
Cholera is a deadly disease. It can kill easily.